What's up, guys? It's Dan from Coin Bureau Trading, back at it again with another crypto market update. Today we've got XRP, Stellar, and Hedera. I'm sure you're all wondering what's going on with these cryptos. How high are they going to go? Are they going to crash lower? If this is the kind of content that you enjoy, then be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ping that notification bell. Before we get started, do keep in mind that nothing in this video is financial advice. It's just my personal analysis of these cryptos. Your analysis could be different, and if it is, that's awesome, because the more difference of opinion that we have, the better traders and the better investors we're all going to become. So guys, I want to start off by actually fact checking myself about something. As many of you will know, I've been personally pretty bullish on Hedera because for a long time, Hedera had the highest chance, or I guess relative to the other cryptos on this list, like relative to XRP and XLM, Hedera, HBAR, had the highest chance of getting a spot ETF approved. But of course, the likelihood has kind of changed ever since Ripple kind of basically got things settled with the SEC. And some of you may have heard that Bloomberg ETF analyst recently put out a new basically estimate for the percentage chances of ETFs, of spot altcoin ETFs being approved in 2025. So the first one here is Litecoin at 90%. Then we have Solana at 90%. We have XRP at 85%, which makes sense. I would personally say it's closer probably to 90% at this point, especially with the CME futures launching. I can't remember if that happened already. Feel free to let me know in the comments. But I would put XRP on the same level as Solana, to be honest. Anyways, Dogecoin at 80%, Cardano at 75%, Polkadot at 75%, HBAR at 80%, which is, I'm a little bit confused why he didn't move it up higher, probably because of the final SEC deadline, which I'll get to in a second. And then, of course, Avalanche at 75%. And in terms of deadlines, basically all of them are sometime in mid to basically in October, throughout October. Litecoin is sometime going to be, it looks like at the beginning of October. Solana, it's like also at the beginning. XRP somewhere in the middle of October as the final deadline. It doesn't mean that we're going to be waiting until then. I actually think the ETFs will be approved much sooner than that, probably sometime over the summer. But just to keep in mind that the final deadline for the SEC to decide is basically in October for XRP. And in HBAR's case, and I suspect this is why Eric has it further down, in HBAR's case, the deadline is the 11th of November, so it's still a ways away compared to XRP and the others. And then, of course, for Avalanche sometime in December. Anyways, with that in mind, guys, I do want to underscore another thing that is related to the cryptos today, especially XRP, and that's that XRP is now supported on MetaMask. But of course, the XRP EVM sidechain, the mainnet, has not launched yet. But it's still good news regardless. That I suspect that they're, as part of the testnet, they're testing to make sure that the XRPL EVM sidechain is compatible with MetaMask with no issues. Some of you if any of you have been around us in crypto since the previous cycle, you might know that Avalanche actually had some problems with MetaMask, that there was a little bit of problem with like RPC stuff. So I assume that this is what XRP is trying to get, or the developers, I think Peersys Technologies, they're trying to get everything sorted out there to make sure that there's no issues with the RPC with MetaMask, so that when you have, however many hundreds of thousands or millions of people using the sidechain, you're not going to have any issues with the MetaMask wallet connecting to the sidechain. Anyways, guys, so this is something really to look forward to. The mainnet launch is still coming. I don't know when it's going to happen. I suspect it'll be timed pretty strategically to kind of correspond to the market. And so for that reason, I think it's possible that they'll kind of hold it off until the time is opportune to make that announcement. That's something very common in crypto. It's not specific to XRP. Crypto projects will typically delay like these key catalysts to make it like and they announce it basically when everything's rallying, and then their crypto will rally even more, right? Anyways, with that being said, guys, this might be a little bit of a hot take, but I think it's possible, keyword possible, that XRP is close to hitting a little bit of a local top here, or like, and again, a local top, I mean like literally over the next few days. It looks like XRP could get as high as around $2.4. If we're on the weekly here, if we do zoom into the daily, you can see that XRP did actually touch $2.4 here a couple days ago, but it's still above the Bollinger Band moving average on the daily, which tells me that it's in a short-term uptrend, basically. And you can see it retested that level yesterday when we saw a little bit of a scare around GDP. But I do think it's possible that XRP will see another small leg higher to 2.4, maybe even $2.5 in the coming days. Then we'll probably get a little bit of a pullback. Everyone will say it's over. It's over, right? That it was a bear market rally. The pullback could take XRP, I don't know, down, let's say probably most likely to around $2, which is a key psychological level that a lot of people have been watching. But when you zoom out on the long-term chart from a technical perspective, that dropped down back to $2. A lot of technical analysts will see that and they'll say, well, that means that XRP is about to roll over and we're entering a bear market. But I think what I think is going to happen is after you get that rejection and that up to $2.4, $2.5 rejection down to around $2, everyone will say it's over. Then we'll get a massive bounce and XRP will continue continue heading higher, likely hitting somewhere around $4 to $5 over the summer. That's my personal prediction. And so far, things have been kind of shaping up, especially in the short term. Things are shaping up more or less how I expected. The only tricky thing now is to say, okay, has XRP already hit that $2.4 target, or is it still going to, retest that level and then move lower? Given that, I mean, honestly, I think it really depends on what happens with unemployment data tomorrow. That's probably going to be the biggest catalyst it determines. But the fact that we're starting to see like tech stocks rally and stuff like that suggests to me that the risks are to the upside in the short term. And that's, of course, consistent with my view that I actually think that Ethereum is going to start melting up a lot in the next couple of days. But of course, that's a topic for another time. Anyways, guys, if you were paying attention there, you might notice we were using Binance. The Coin Bureau deals page is a 20% trading fee discount and up to $600 in bonuses. That's the biggest discount you can get on Binance. It's available exclusively through the Coin Bureau. It's completely free. Taking advantage of it is super simple, super fast. Just click the link in the description. It'll take you to a page that looks like this. If it'll load here. Enter your email and phone number or phone number. Signing up takes 2 minutes. If you're not able to use Binance for whatever reason, because you're a US user, UK user, whatever, do keep in mind that the Coin Bureau deals page does have deals on other exchanges that are available to US and UK, users. So do check out those other deals we have down there. And if you're just looking for a wallet or even anything just to help you out, trading bots, you name it, the Coin Bureau deals page has that. It's all free. Basically, the exchanges get a cut, the exchanges get a new user, you get a trading fee discount, and we get a cut of the trading fees. That's how the Coin Bureau makes its money. We're not sponsored by Ethereum. We're not sponsored by Ripple. We're not sponsored by any crypto projects. We're just here to give you the tools that you need to buy, sell, trade, hold, whatever the cryptos that you love. So do take advantage of those deals using the link down in the description and also in the comments. Anyways, guys, moving on now to Stellar. Of course, Stellar has been posting a lot about stablecoins. This is something I've been highlighting for a while now, specifically the fact that you can see that the amount of stablecoins on Stellar has been rising like a rocket, basically. And that, of course, is very bullish, especially when you consider the fact that Stellar is also kind of positioning itself as a tokenized RWA hub. We can see that even the largest protocol on Stellar is actually Franklin Templeton's RWA fund here. And I do expect to see more RWA stuff, more stablecoin payments, more stablecoin related stuff. And I guess for clarity there, guys, tokenized RWAs are very closely linked to stablecoins, beside the fact that stablecoins are technically like digital dollars. So in that sense, stablecoins themselves are RWAs. All these tokenized RWAs, they're going to be trading on chain. And obviously, they're not going to be trading against US dollars. They're going to be trading against stablecoins, right? Because they're on chain. So that's something to keep in mind as well. There's kind of like a symbiosis between those two things. So who knows, maybe it's possible that first we'll see the stablecoin narrative get big and then the tokenized RWA kind of comes after that. Some of you will know that I was thinking that the tokenized RWA narrative might come first and then stablecoins. It could end up being the other way around. And of course, it is worth keeping in mind that we could see actually stablecoin regulations passed by the end of this month, specifically by the end of May. Politicians in the Senate were saying that they want to have a vote by May 26th. So we'll see how that goes. Anyways, moving out now to XLM on the weekly chart. Same idea, Bollinger Band. I love the Bollinger Bands, guys. Like it's super simple to add it. If you're not sure, you literally just go here on Binance, this little technical indicator thing. You just click on Bull. You don't mess with any of the settings. You don't need to change any of the defaults here on the Bollinger Bands. I just use the default settings and it works perfectly. Gives you a sense of when we're in the short term, like bull trend, bear trend, medium term, bear trend. Now we can clearly see, of course, XLM has been in a medium term bear trend, but eventually it's going to get out of this bear trend. And of course, the first step is to retest the Bollinger Band moving average, which is currently around 32 cents. So I do think that XLM is probably going to rally up to that in the next couple of days. Similar idea to XRP and a lot of other cryptos. We can see that XLM has been kind of coming back and retesting the Bollinger Band moving average on the daily. Chances are it's going to bounce from around this level. Could it go a little bit lower? Sure, but it's probably going to bounce from this level and then keep heading higher, go up to around, like, let's say that 32-cent level, and then probably fall again. And in that case, it's possible that XRP could fall back down to, let's say, 25 cents or even 22 cents. And of course, again, a lot of people will say, oh, it's over. That was a bear market rally, and now XLM is going into a bear market. But then what's going to happen is it'll shoot back above that Bollinger Band moving average on the weekly, confirming it's back in a medium-term bull trend, and then it'll probably shoot up, and I would assume that it would go at least to $1 sometime over the summer. So yeah, but we'll have to take things one step at a time. And again, the first step is getting to the Bollinger Band moving average on the weekly around 32 cents. Anyways, so I guess this brings us back to the whole ETF stuff that I was was mentioning at the beginning. When it comes to Hedera, of course, the ETF is one thing to watch, but another thing that I've been flagging in the last couple of weeks is that Hedera seems to be positioning itself for AI agents, which is really interesting. It's actually way, way, way more interesting than you think, and for reasons that I won't get into in this video because it'll be a little bit lengthy. But long story short is that Hedera seems to be reading the room and understanding that we're going to see another wave of in the AI narrative, basically. And this time the AI is not going to be focused on like these. I'll put it to you this way: you could make the argument that the first wave of AI was related really like to infrastructure, like Nvidia and this stuff, and everyone was wondering like, okay, but what are the actual applications going to be? We've seen lots of chatbots, ChatGPT, and all that type of stuff. But what about something that's useful, like these virtual personal assistants, right? Which is basically what AI agents are, and it's something that I think is pretty easy for retail investors to understand. Is like, hey, this is like your own personal virtual agent, a personal assistant, right? I think that's a lot easier for people to understand than something like, oh yeah, we have like these advanced chips, right? It's all about the chips. Anyways, in all seriousness, guys, what you might have heard, and this is what kind of ties in Hedera, is that tech stocks are actually seeing a little bit of a boost overnight because they're basically for Meta and Microsoft specifically, their earnings came in pretty strong despite all the tariff stuff, which is actually not that surprising because Trump was like making exemptions for like, chips and phones and whatever and all this type of stuff. But the point is, guys, that tech stocks are looking strong. A lot of them are probably going to announce AI related stuff over the summer, specifically related to AI agents. And not only is that going to cause a massive rally in stock indices because stock indices, so much of them are made up of tech stocks, but it's also going to feed in obviously into crypto, into any cryptos that are angling themselves towards AI agents. And my kind of hot take is that a lot of, I mean, even Solana and like a lot of these top layer ones, they're trying to kind of like angle themselves like, oh yeah, we do AI agents, we do AI agents. But in Hedera's case, they really seem to be like, you know what, forget about the tokenization. We're really into this, DeFi AI agents. They even have like an AI agents hackathon that's going on right now. So they're really like doubling down and saying, this is where, to do the AI agent stuff. And it's going to be interesting to see if HBAR does get caught up in that. And of course, that does bring me here to the weekly chart for HBAR. Again, I am eyeing the Bollinger Band moving average for HBAR. That's around 22 cents, which would be around a 24% gain from here. Not too shabby at all. We can see that just like XRP, HBAR saw a little bit of a rejection yesterday, or I guess you could just call it like a pretty standard pullback. After a huge rally, it's normal to get a pullback. It's actually really crazy, like, when we get a pullback like that and everyone starts panicking, but you realize like, well, wait, over the last, 2 weeks, like HBAR is up like what, like 25 or 30%. And then of course it's going to see, whatever it is, a 10% pullback. That's completely normal. But anyways, it retested the Bollinger Band moving average on the daily. It kind of bounced off of that. And I'm expecting that in the next couple of days, it'll see another leg higher, again, probably somewhere up to that 22-cent range. And then it'll get rejected again. And who knows, maybe it'll fall down, let's say to 18 cents or maybe even down to 15 cents or 16 cents. And everyone will say, oh, it's over. It's over. It was a bear market rally. I knew it. All the bears on X were right. All the bulls were wrong all along. But then, yeah, you'll see HBAR start to recover, get back above the Bollinger Band moving average on the weekly, and start basically squeezing to the upside. And again, I am eyeing also $1 for HBAR sometime over the summer. But again, we'll have to take things one step at a time. And as I'm going to start saying, I guess now in every video, the first step, focus on the first step, and that's getting up to 22 cents, which I do think will happen either later this week or sometime early next week. Anyways, guys, if you did make it this far and you did find that information helpful, then be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, ping that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.